O'clock. Okay. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. It's the 4th of November, and I'm drinking something I've never drank before. It is, what is this? What is this? It's Hatherwood Ruby Ale from Lidl's. Oh, kind of like the kind of thing that you drink at Wetherspoons when they're doing 99 pence a pint. Ruby Ale. Okay. Let me see. 44. Oh, geez, I was going to get a bit wondered that I thought it was going to be all alone then. Smooth operator, Stephen Gamble, Eugene Vincent, Cy Fergie, Ed does 20. Oh, a bit naughty there, mate. Pitbull, the Fat Gent. Okay, nice to have you all here anyway. Michael Wright, Mark Alec, nice to hear from you, mate. Derek Mack. 30 people are here anyway. I'm here now. I've got this StreamYards thing going. You never know. By the end of the night, I may just figure out how to work it properly. May even get a guest on. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Okay, Poppy Corn, good evening. Oliver Tobias, he's a bit of a stud. Dixie Normus, Chris Atkinson, good evening. 21 days and then it goes to Pattaya. So you'll be going there at the end of November, which is bang on the start of the peak season, isn't it? Good for you, mate. Good for you. Dan and Robot and Johnny Day, Asian Overland with Dave. Melton Mowbray pork pie. Have a guess what I've got here for later. It is indeed the return of an old favourite. And I'll be having it Roger Moore style with their tomato sauce. I've seen Roger Moore being served a pork pie, and he had it with tomato sauce. Philip Sand, Ernest Connell, Harold Baldick, Harold Burdick, Pinball, R.I.P. Lionel Blair. Is he dead? Is he dead? What was Lionel Blair? Was he what kind of entertainer? I know exactly who you mean. He looked like a hairdresser, didn't he? Neil Fleet, good evening. Anthony James. Okay, Dandelion, Callow, Melton Mowbray, pork pie. Kirpax. Okay, let's have it. It's 90 people in the chat anyway, so what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, Thailand is open. Thailand, that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful country of winter sunshine, of islands, of beaches, of soapy massages and dirty soapy massages. That wonderful, wonderful place is finally open. I believe they have actually dropped that awful, dreadful 2-week prison hotel quarantine. Unless, of course, you catch the antivirus on the airplane, then you haven't dropped it. But basically, what it is, I think it opened November the 1st. And is it open? Is it open? It is actually, well, I suppose it's open if you don't mind spending, your first up to 24 hours waiting for your PCR test in a hotel room. That's doable. That is doable. I think anyone could do that. If you arrive in Thailand after that long journey from Britain or America or whatever, to actually spend the first night lazing about in your hotel room, that's doable. But the fact is that the bars aren't open yet, are they? And from what I hear, a lot of people believe that they're going to be open December. But then I don't think that's confirmed quite now. It's not as simple. Okay, let's see. Who's that there? Flores is here. Hello, Flores. Okay. Hello, Flores. Nice to hear from you. Chris Atkinson. Thailand Pass is a nightmare, though. No, this is the thing that's putting a lot of people off. Apparently, there was thousands of people who turned up on Monday. Well, maybe if you have a pressing reason that you've got to get out of Thailand right now at this moment in time, as soon as November the 1st came, people were queuing up to get to Bangkok and do this, that, and personally, as a tourist traveler, I wouldn't do that. I'd leave it a while. I'm hoping to get there when things have settled, maybe beginning of January. But then, they could get worse here by then. You never know what's coming next. But apparently this Thailand Pass has been very, very controversial. A lot of people can't make head and tail of what it's all about, of how to do it online. Apparently, it's riddled with hiccups and problems, and I've heard of a lot of people having problems with it. I think the best advice I heard about this Thailand Pass is leave it a couple of months before you go there. Scott, 1977, even though Thailand next year looking promising. It does look promising. It does look promising. I mean, the fact is that only a few months back, I think the consensus with a lot of people was that Thailand was going to lose this peak season this year, with having lost the one last year very, very much so. Thailand was going to lose this year's peak season, and it would have been disaster. It would have been very, very disappointing for the tourists, and an absolute disaster for the Thai people, especially who work in the entertainment zones. That's what I thought. And I thought when Thailand was put on the red list just a few months ago, I thought that's the final nail in the coffin. If it's if they're putting the UK on the red list, they've got their own problems. It's going to be a no-go this year. But things have booked up since then. They have seemed to have booked up. And now, if it's actually the dropping of the 2-week quarantine, that was the big issue. That was keeping people from going there. So it can only be a good thing. Leonard Wasn't, what's up, Eddie? I'm thinking a little bit more positive than it was. Bobby Crush, Pattaya is a disaster zone. Now, am I right in thinking that the Chonburi area has been a little bit left out when Thailand has opened certain places? The Chonburi area has been left out. I think I can't really see, unless you've got a real pressing reason, why you would want to go out to somewhere like Pattaya right now in this month of November when a lot of the bars are not open. It's all about the nightlife, really, Pattaya. Melton Mowbray pork pie. Vincent Submariniso, open but closed. Same. Yeah, absolutely. CEO, no booze. Apparently, there's a few restaurants that I think it's the scenario, isn't it? Like you have on certain days, certain religious days in the year. We won't go into details that where they dim the lights in the bars, and you have a beer in a cup, a mug, you serve it in a, you know what I'm talking about. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Melton Mowbray pork pie, booze is back. Yeah, it certainly is, mate. Mark Oleg, I heard the UK as a COVID as an antivirus pill now. I've heard that. I've seen that there was a pill. It was only a brief news item. It wasn't splashed all over the news. But I've seen that there was a. But we waited long enough for the vaccines. Now I'm double vaccinated. Before I can book my flight to somewhere like Thailand, I will have to have it. I mean, I don't think it's absolutely on paper and enforced, but it's common sense to do so. I will have to have the booster. Now, I've heard the booster is quite easy to get. I actually met some people today who said you don't even need an appointment. You go down to your local sports centre or whatever's doing it, and you can stand in a queue. There's 2 queues. There's those who have made appointments, and those who haven't made appointments but can walk in anyway. I breezed through the first 2. I breezed through the first 2, vaccines without a problem. I had lots of other people having problems. I didn't have problems, but I think the booster. I don't want to have the booster. I don't want to have any jabs. The fact is, you've got to be realistic. Do you want to travel or not? If they say that you got to travel, you just have to bite the bullet. John Mitch, nice to hear from you, John Mitch. Poppycorn, R.I.P. Lionel Blair. He was 92. Sad that there's hardly anyone to pay tribute to him at that age. I watched a little bit of the news today, but I didn't see anything about Lionel Blair. He was well known. He was. What was he exactly? What was his? I know he was a celebrity. I always thought he was one of those people. He was famous for being famous. He was on New Faces, and he was one of the judges. He was always a little bit camp and a little bit bitchy as well. I do remember when he was on New Faces, that talent show in the 70s. He got a big boo from the audience, didn't he? Because they thought it was a real bitchy comment. This magician came on with his wife as his assistant, and she was in the sort of a magician's assistant's look. And Lionel, and people said the magician was okay, and whatever, but they weren't really bowled over by his performance. But Lionel Blair was the one who suggested what the magician would benefit from having, a dolly bird, assist him, rather than his wife. God, this is this man's wife you're talking about. You don't say, what's he saying? Get rid of it and replace it with the dolly bird. I mean, that was Lionel Blair. Okay. Oh. Isn't it amazing now? You can remember things from about 50 years ago, but I can't remember yesterday. High five. No booze. Ernest Carroll, no booze, no deal. Now that I'm hearing that the bars not open. Are they open in Bangkok? It doesn't look like it. I've probably been watching the same videos that you've been watching, and it looks dreadful, to see these places. As far as I understand, at this moment in time, the only place that is open in Thailand, really open, as in, you can go to bars and whatever, is Phuket, probably Patong, which is a great place to be. But that place is notoriously expensive. I went there many, many years ago, and I thought it was great. I liked it. But I've heard that since it's become notoriously expensive, and some of the prices that they are charging for everything are really quite extortionate. Well, if it's the only deal in town, then you just got to accept it. So as far as I know, that Phuket is the only place that's actually open at this moment in time. They say that December the 1st, it's going on, but I don't think that's set in stone. It's not set in stone, December the 1st. I mean, December is the peak month in Thailand. That is when guys have the Christmas holidays. I've never actually been in Thailand in that particular month. I've been in Cambodia, and I think I've been in Vietnam and other places that month, but not in Thailand. But I do believe that the resorts are swamped in that month. So, they're going to get sorted out by then. Let's see, Alan Hunter, Monday Solitaire Hotel, no problem. Pinball, Papa Gun, only Jimmy Tarbuck left. Do you mean of that era? Jimmy Tarbuck. What did somebody once say about Jimmy Tarbuck? The man who got his haircut from the Beatles and his jokes from everybody else. That's what I heard about Jimmy Tarbuck. Anyway, leave the UK. Derek Mack, leave the UK while you can. No, I'm going to play it cool. I'm going to play it cool. I had 7 weeks, but I was planning on a few months out in Europe, but I think I'd done what I needed to do. I had a bit of sunshine in September and October. Greece, and I love Crete, and I liked Athens. Very highly rate that place. I had a bit of the sun on me back. I've done that. Now I'm having to relax. I'm looking forward to Thailand. Thailand's the next one, and I really want that to be open by, well, certainly by January. Jax Poulsen, is there a curfew? Well, I believe that there's a bar curfew, isn't there? Apparently, am I right in saying, and these things change all the time, that you can, I think in restaurants, you might get a drink, but are they allowed to serve alcohol? I'm not even sure. But I heard that if they are serving alcohol, then they've got to drink up at 9 o'clock at night, because the antivirus comes out after 9 o'clock at night, apparently. So good. Eddie, I doubt travel is going to be any easier. I think we got a long way to go before travel gets any easier. I don't think it will. I don't think travel will ever be the same again. Remember, when I go to places like Thailand, I don't stay there. I travel for months. I can hop back and forward borders, land borders, Thailand into Cambodia or Vietnam or wherever. Not a problem. All that. I think we've been spoilt in the past by the ease of travel between these countries, but not anymore. It's just not going to be the same anymore, is it? Cambodia, Vietnam, Philippines, I think we'll have to talk about those on another stream, really. All things important. Do you really trust Thai's system if you test positive on arrival? Or see, this is what I'm worrying about, yeah? I'm worrying about that. Or even worse, if someone's sitting next to you test positive, I've heard you must go to Antivirus hospital even if you test negative. I don't know. Let me just tell you something. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I arrived back in the UK in the early hours of last Monday, which was, can't even remember what date it was, but it was about 10 days ago. It was about 10 days ago, something like that. that's when I that's when I arrived back in the UK, and what I was waiting on was the PCR test, which I think had already gone out of date because I didn't need it by then. And I was waiting, you know, to you know, hear what had happened, because you have to do a day 2 one, which I did and sent it up. But while I was waiting for that, I got a scam, an attempted scam. Some bastards, I don't know how they do it, had got the access to my email, my Hotmail, and also the new mobile phone, which I've been using recently. And this scam, and it was a scam, it was using the National Health official phone number for the track and trace. And this scam pestered me for a few days, with phone calls, and also how did they get the phone number? I think the word was spoofing. If you actually get a dubious phone number, what you can do is you can put the dubious phone number into Google and just see what people have got to say about it. And the consensus was that this was a bloody scam. This scam in the email, they claimed that I hadn't finished my account for track and trace. I've finished everything that I needed to bloody finish, the whole lot of it. This was a scam. And what they were doing, they were trying to get me to press on this link in the email and add my personal details. Excuse me, but the National Health already have my personal details. If you get a scam like this saying, put your personal details in, don't do it. Don't do it. They either want the end result, they either want your bank details one way or the other. They want identity theft, or they want to get your data so that they can then sell it on to someone else. It's a scam. So I ignored it, and now they've gone away. But apparently, I looked at the reviews of this phone number, and some people were saying, Jesus Christ, I mean, some strange woman phoned up and she sounded like she had about half a dozen kids in the background, and it was obviously a scam. So it was. Be aware of scams. Now I arrived back here and the scammers were waiting for me. I didn't fall for it. They've gone away now, disappeared into oblivion. But what I'm saying is, if you arrive in another country, then this business of somebody might have tested. This is what they said. Yeah, that's right. That's what they said in this scam. They said that somebody had been in contact with someone who tested positive. Yes, someone who tested positive, but they didn't say where, or they didn't give any details of this. Give me some details of where someone was tested. But for what it's worth, before anyone tries to say that well, I should have responded to it. For what it's worth, I done the day 2 PCR test. I sent it off to a reputable company, and I have the email printed out back to say that I am negative of the antivirus. So I've got the proof. It's there. I've got the proof anyway. So just watch out for the scammers. Watch out for them abroad, and watch out for them in your own in your own country. Okay. Steph Traveller is here. Steph Traveller. My friend Steph Traveller. How are you, Steph? Steph is cool. Steph Traveller did I was having a great bit of fun. He's got 2 channels. He's got Steph Traveller, and he's also got Steph Traveller Live. He was doing a karaoke last night on Steph Traveller Live, and he was absolutely wonderful. If you want to hear Steph singing Stairway to Heaven, it's absolutely awesome. Okay, nice to hear from you, mate. Sean the Prawn, nice to hear from you. Let's see. Okay, who we got here? Let me just see. Okay, let's see now. There you go. One of these days, I'll learn how to use all of this. I'll learn how to use all of this. I'll learn how to use this bloody. Let's see. Oh, we'll get it. We'll get it done sooner or later. Anyway, I think I'll just waffle on here for now. Who else is in the chat? Yeah, absolutely. Leonard Washington, I'm getting scams now for mediocre health insurance, but I delete them. Can somebody tell me something, right? Can someone tell me something? I mentioned this last week, but before I went abroad, at the beginning of September, I got insurance, and because it was the outsiders, I wanted to sit down with the person and discuss it. And I paid about £250 for annual travel insurance at this broker's close to where I live. Okay, all done and dusted. Never used it, thankfully. But while I was away, Asda helped themselves without my bloody permission to my credit card to renew a previous annual travel insurance for £77. I'm just wondering. The question I'd like to ask is, does anyone know the answer to this? Because I don't know the answer to it. If I, after 2 insurances running, if I get ill when I'm abroad, does that mean that I can claim twice? I can claim off both insurance companies. I should do because I paid for both of them. Let's see. Transparent. Steph Traveller's a heavy hitter in the genre. He's the muscles from Brussels. That's what he is. No, I don't think. I think he's actually from somewhere else in there. We'll try and get Steph on. I want to learn how to use this anyway. Let's see. What have I got here now? What have I got here now? Let me just have a little look. Let's see. Oh, we'll do this some. We'll do this some of the time. I'm not gonna piss it over with it right now. Daniel, quickly, will you use that voucher, Eddie? That voucher expires beginning of December, so I don't think I am gonna lose it. I mean, it's too much hassle. It's too much bloody hassle. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, to be honest with you. Robert Wilson, Cambodia pie. Yeah, okay. I prefer a Cambodian sandwich, personally. Okay, Mac. Let's see. Kidan, I did my test with Randox, and they had Kidan, I did my test with Randox, and they had absolutely nothing back off them. A scam. Now, I've heard of Randox, a company, being a scam. That was actually the one that I used at Stansted Airport before I boarded my flight. Now, I did that before, but I thought, I'm going to take a gamble and go. And some people said, okay. But it was great. They got my results back. They emailed my results before I boarded the plane within a very, very short time. So, you know, I used them and they were okay. Taj Mahal, back to Mexico tomorrow, holding off on Thailand till February. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Kickbacks. What happened to your voucher, Eddie? It's still there. It's still there, unused. You know, well, whatever. I didn't ask for the voucher in the first place. Harold Betson, as the price insurance. Yeah, absolutely. It seems good, but they helped themselves. But at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, seeing as Asda sent me this insurance and took the money out without me renewing it, if I do get ill, and I certainly hope that I don't get ill, but if I do, then that means that I can claim off them as well as the other insurance. As far as I'm concerned, I can. Yeah, Harold Betson, no, you can't double insure, but you can double pay. You can double pay, can't you? So who's broken the law? Is Asda broken the law? If you say I can't double insure, is Asda broken the law? Because they've took money out of my account without my permission. So Milton Mowbray, poor pie. How many years can we travel without even having to have a test? God, no, travel's not going to be the same again, mate. It's not going to be the same again. It's not. I think we're going to look back at what we've done over the last, a couple of decades, backpacker traveler style. And I think we're going to realize that we were lucky then. We were at the ease of it, because I don't think it's going to be as easy in the future. Mike Ham, Eddie, I fly back to Thailand 3 weeks ago. Been too long years. Last time I flew was October. I met you in Swampy. I think you're on the way to Vietnam. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, well, good for you, Mike. Anyway, I hope it all works well for you. Johnny Ringo, Eddie, will you be required to wear your mask during the dirty massage? I think that is up to the discretion of the particular massager. If she says I got to wear a mask, then I got to wear a mask, haven't I? Jeez, I probably smother. I probably suffocate under it. Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier today. Let's see. Lou Brickhand was meant to be in Thailand just now, but moved flight till March next year. Good for you. I think that's probably better. It's probably better. But listen, we're not out the woods yet. Things can change. I think the problems that are going on in Thailand right now with this bloody pass and all the problems that people are having with it, I think I think hopefully it will have smoothed out by the beginning of January. But then we might have got worse. We've got the antivirus cases. The death rate I think it's gone over 200 today. That's absolutely dreadful. We're not getting any better. This pandemic soap opera, it's not over yet. It's a long way from being over. Jamie L, have you ever been to Kazakhstan? I've never been to Kazakhstan. I suppose that's quite an interesting place. But to be honest with you, I to be perfectly honest with you, I don't really have enthusiasm for other countries. I've done a fair bit of Europe. I know that that's not Europe, but right now, I at my age now, I want to go to places which I feel comfortable with and I can enjoy, rather than places which I find interesting. Kazakhstan probably is very, very, but I'm getting a bit old to be, jumping on and off trains and doing all kinds of physical stuff, and I don't think that's for me somehow. Paul H, no, you can't claim twice. Well, I'm insured twice, so what do I do? Should I get on the phone and cancel it as the thing? I've already got the other insurance. Paul H, ask for a refund. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the best one. I think that's the best option. Cheeky bastards, aren't they? This is it with direct debits. If you don't mention it, they'll just, he hasn't mentioned it, so we'll just take the money. Big company. Who owns Asda, by the way? Walmart, probably one of the biggest companies in the world. You think they got enough money without having to bloody scam people? Let's see. Transparency in four, but yeah, Stefan's right again. The only to travel to Thailand is April Songkran. That's a time when I'm coming home from Thailand, not going there because they're about to go into the rainy season. And Songkran, I wouldn't want to be there for that. No, that's not the one where they all throw water over. I don't want to do that. Devil's Den, all insurance is a 14-day cooling off period. I think I better get my skates on. Tom 1560, you can't claim twice. Both companies will share the cost. Well, whatever. Harold Peterson, pork pie massage. Hey, Paul Hates, that's a good idea. Phone the company and make them book the flight on your behalf. Yeah, that sounds good. But it expires. My voucher expires beginning of December, so I won't be going to Thailand then anyway. Big Dave, nice to hear from you. Did I meet you today, Big Dave? Okay, your charming wife. Okay, nice to hear from you, Dave. And I'm glad you tuned in. Very nice to meet you. Anyway, very nice to meet you. Yours travels. Randox is fine. Used 6 times now, all good. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Phil Roberts, you need insurance from one of the approved companies in Thailand as well. Don't you? Ask or something. That'll be 3 insurance. I'm trying to work it all out myself. Well, that's an interesting thing. When we're talking about insurance, while we're talking about insurance, you get annual travel insurance. You have to have travel insurance before you leave the country. But then when you book a flight, they say, do you want insurance for this, that, and the other? They probably know that you've already got insurance. But it's this accident. They'll try and get money out of you left, right, and centre if they can. John Mitch, you can only claim for one insurance in every insurance, yeah? Zero. Where's the little brandy tonight? It's in the cupboard. I can get it if you want. Steph Trevor, you need a lawyer to travel with you to Thailand now. So much paperwork. Okay. Yeah, that's a good comment there anyway, Steph. Tube Chronomics is best, Eddie. Okay, Chronomics. Ting Tong, let's make Pattaya great again. Don't pay more than 1,500 a long time, okay? You stingy git, okay? those ladies out there, wonderful. You met a lovely lady. You want to treat her, don't you? Don't you? Okay, Bob. Any spare sponge yet? Okay. So, oh well, he said something like that. There's apparently a sandbox system in place in Thailand where you just need some kind of proof of max without any quarantine. Could be wrong though. Paul Hayes, you're dual insure. Both companies will pay half. Okay. High five. You ever had pork pies on fried bread? That sounds like a bloody heart attack waiting to happen. That does. David Kane, do you think Cambodia or Vietnam will be open in January? I don't know the script with those countries. I think what I'm hearing from Cambodia is that they are actually going quite ahead. A lot of their population, I can't quote the exact figures, a lot of their population are fully vaccinated. They're actually going quite ahead. But the idea of border hopping, the idea that border, I'm going from Thailand to Cambodia, and not many people are talking about this, but I think it's going to be extremely difficult. I do think that's going to be quite difficult from now on. So, I mean, if you're going to leave the UK and go direct to Cambodia, how do you get there? Well, there's probably not many flights there. I think you can go via China or Kuala Lumpur. Bangkok is the way that I usually like to go to Cambodia, but I think border hopping. I just think I would leave border hopping personally. If I can get out to Thailand beginning of January, I will be more than happy. I will be more than happy to stay there for 3 months if I can sort the visa out, the 90-day visa. I will be more than happy. I've seen a lot of places in Thailand, a lot of the same places over and over again, but there's still other places that I've never been to. I mean, I've been to obviously Pattaya, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, a few other places, Phuket, Krabi. I've been to those places in the past, but there's a lot of other places, Koh Samui, never been Koh Samui, a lot of other those islands, a lot of those. Yeah, absolutely. I would, if I'm let loose in Thailand, if it all goes well and it's all open, I will be like a pig in muck in the new year. There's nothing I would like better than to get out there in the new year and travel around that country, see a few of the places that I've never seen before. Forget about border hopping. I will be forgetting about border hopping because I just think that'll be too complicated at this moment in time. I'd love to see Vietnam and Cambodia again, but I just think the idea of border hopping, I just think it's out of question right now. Jamie Hayes, Steady Eddie, I can never find that cheap beer place in Athens. Are you talking about, what was it? Was it the Placher area? Now, if you're there now, that cheap beer, it's quite easy to find because it's on a corner. There's a square with bars all around it. You probably know the main square, and that particular place is on a corner of that square, and there's big signs for the happy hour. There's big signs. What is it? Whatever the price is, but there's big signs for the happy hour that starts at 3:30 in the afternoon and goes all the way up to 9:30. Have a look at it again. That main square. It's not difficult to find. Popcorn. Whoa, Popcorn, you have to declare previous claims on future application forms for travel insurance. You have to declare 2 rather than 1, which means your insurance premiums will go up. Well, I've never actually made a claim on the insurance, but it's good to know all of this. It's good. Dave, hey, this is getting worse. This is getting more doom and gloom. It used to be illegal to have 2 insurances. If the other insurances found out, they would make your insurance void. I didn't ask for that bloody ASDA. I didn't ask for it. I did not ask for it. They just took the money out. That's it. I'm going to make that phone call tomorrow. I'm going to make that bloody phone call tomorrow. Bastards. Eric, Thailand Pass, not good. What do we know about the Thailand Pass? Well, it's About the Thailand Pass, I was watching some videos about it today, and I'm just glad that I'm not doing it right now. No, I know that if you watch that program, the YouTube channel, the Tiger, which is very, very, very informative. They started doing this live stream, haven't they? About 20 minutes at a time. It's very, very insane. Those guys who present it, terrific. Really, really is very, very watchable and very informative. But I was watching one which was, I think, it was recorded yesterday, and or maybe earlier today. And a guy in Britain who's involved in that Tiger is trying to get out to Thailand. I think he's got a flight tomorrow, and I think he's really savvy with the computer stuff, but it's just bewildering them. Apparently, it's riddled with problems right now. We can talk about the problems and how people. I mean, you know, some people can breeze through, you know, an online form or whatever. I'm one of the ones who can't. I'm one of the ones who made a bloody fool out of myself at Dalaman Airport in Turkey because I didn't realise that you had to have a passenger locator form to come back to the UK. Sometimes the old-fashioned way of printing things out is the best way. But some people can look at forms online and breeze through them, and some people can't. Well, I'm one of the ones who just get confused with them. But what I've heard about it from another one, Taya, it's Thai things. She mentioned in a video that if you have Hotmail and Gmail is the better one to have. Well, I usually use Hotmail, but if it's got to be Gmail, that's the one where it works better. It's riddled with problems right now, and sooner or later it'll come back to bite them on the arse. But you know, some people seem to breeze through, and some people are having terrible problems. I'm just glad that I'm not doing it right now at this moment in time. I'm leaving it until they sort the problems out. Yeah, there's another one. On call, nice to hear from you, on call. I know you made a couple of comments. Let's see. On call 21. Melbourne, where I live, has been the longest lockdown city in the world. We had 80% vaccinated a week ago, and the lockdown is finally over. International travel finally began on Monday this week. Well, I'm pleased to hear from you. I'm really, really pleased for you. You know, we're hearing all kinds of things about Australia. I mean, it's especially from Australians, you know, they're calling their country, you know, a prison. You know, we're all in the same boat, but I think Australia has been suffering a bit more than most places because we all want freedom, and you know, we don't want to live under draconian rules. But you know, good for you. You can finally, well, good for anyone who can finally get out there and start traveling again. Tiller Hertz. Billy Bob. It's called auto renew. You need to tell. I don't remember putting in for auto renewal for that insurance policy. Harold Batterson. Did they take masks off for the? Well, I should imagine so. Try bloody doing that through a mask, mate. What do I think of this beta tonight? It's okay. It's okay. Like I said earlier, it's what is it? It's Heatherwood Ruby Ale. Got it out of Lidl's. I think it's about 99 pence. I think it was sometimes in Weatherspoons. It's like, it reminds me of one of those beers, those draft ales, obscure that you've never heard of before, that they'll pour in Weatherspoons. And when they have promotions on there, about 99 pence as well. It's okay. Not a rocket to the moon. RJ Austin, Eddie, please be careful when booking quarantine hotels in Bangkok. I've found that there's a lot offering one-day quarantine packages with PCR tests, but they may not necessarily be SHA certified. Be careful, absolutely. But absolutely. No, there's always going to be bloody scams out there. Melton Mowbray, Eddie, did you stay in touch with that lovely Vietnamese? What? Oh, yeah, I know. Day with the Days, weren't they? Day with the Days. Jesus, Day with the Days. Yeah, Goldilocks. I think you're talking about Goldilocks. God almighty, I wish those days would return. I really, really do. Oh, get in there. Get in there. Okay? Oh, my God almighty. Where are we? Have I lost all the chat? I think I've Phuket Richie 1969 has sent me a super chat. That's really kind of. That's $20 US. Sir Edward, the small donation from the travel, booze and party fund. Your streams continue to be informative for us like-minded subscribers. Cheers, mate. Okay, well, cheers to you, Phuket Richie. I do appreciate that. Very, very, very nice of you. Phuket Richie, I wouldn't mind another visit to Phuket. If that's the place that is open, yeah, and don't let anyone tell you that it's not a nice place. It's apparently it's a bit more expensive than it used to be. It's always had the reputation of being expensive, but I remember being there. It was about 18 years. I think it was actually on my second visit to Thailand. It was probably about 18 years ago now, something like that. And you know, that main strip is called Bangla Road down there. I loved it. I absolutely loved it out there. For January, I wouldn't mind heading there again. I wouldn't mind heading there. And of course, you got on the islands, PP Islands. I think it was before the tsunami. PP Island, it was absolutely beautiful. I had a wonderful time there. Absolutely wonderful. Thanks for that donation anyway, mate. Appreciate that. Niall M, she's great for info. Yeah, okay, yeah, absolutely. I think you're talking about Saya. Yes, it's terrific. Terrific. Send me a nice message. I give it a shout out on this you know, live stream. And she did send me a message. Harry James, Thailand Pass is a shower of shite. Okay. That is a fairly sweeping statement, that is, but I must admit that this is the feedback that I'm getting. Scott Murray, why are you looking forward to Thailand the most and why? I'd say the most and why, right? Because of the past. Because the months of January, February, March, right? Thailand in the months of January, February, March are the other end of the extreme from the UK. You couldn't get further away. In January, February, March, in the UK, it is raining. And I'm one of these people that gets depressed when it's raining all the time. It's cold. It's miserable. It's bloody awful. And really, you don't want to be here. You want to be somewhere warm and sunny and tropical and exotic and fun. And that is why Thailand for January, February, March is the complete opposite of the UK. I want to be in Thailand those months. That's why. Does that answer your question? David, I just have to show flight number, not tickets for TP. Chang Noi, smart idea. Let others be the guinea pigs. I'm just a matter of common sense. Just a matter of common sense, mate. I wouldn't be going there now anyway, even if it was up and running. I'm looking forward to beginning of January. That's the time I want to be heading out there. Okay. Let's see. Toba got my QR code 1 hour after completing Thai Pass form. I don't know the ins and outs of it just yet, but I think am I right in saying that this QR code, at the end of the day, everything comes down to this QR code. I think that's the way it is. I don't know. I'm not planning on using it anytime soon. Not for a couple of months anyway. The Crag 77, I'm trying to get my employer to let me either take my computer with me or give me 9 weeks off or so. Last December, ASQ in Bangkok last year was awesome. I'm heading back in December soon. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Good for you. Tom Robinson, do you need buy flights before you apply for Thai Pass? I would have thought so, mate. They always want to know what your flight number is, don't they, with these things? I would have thought so, yeah. It's a big gamble. You know, you buy these flights and then this chap, he was on the Tiger today, thinks that his flight is going to be a no-go simply because he's paid for his flights and he's paid for his PCR test and all of this, and yet he can't really seem to get his head around this Thai Pass. It's really not responding. It's all kinds of glitches to it. So, you know, I'm just glad that I'm not doing it at this moment in time. Some people probably would sail through that, but not me. Ian and Barb Bowden Howden. Hi, Eddie. Why can't us double vaccines travellers not have any restrictions now? It's ridiculous. Well, it's a big question, that, isn't it? First of all, we heard about the vaccine. We heard about the Pfizer vaccine, the breakthrough, and people are tears their eyes. It's finally here. And then 5 minutes later, people will be using other vaccines. They appeared out of nowhere. And then we were told we have to have 2 vaccines. And now we're being told that we've got to have, you know, a booster. Oh my God! It's not what it should be anyway. It's not what it should be. How long have I been on for? I've been waffling on for 45 minutes now. What else is there to talk about? I will get somebody on this. How is the best way to get people on this? I mean, I can post a link to maybe some Facebook people, or there are a few vloggers who I know would like to come on this show. But the actual ins and outs of this StreamYards thing, I still haven't got the gist. I still haven't got the gist of it just yet. You know, I can do some good live streams with this. It'd be nice to get some people on. It would be nice to get some people on, but I just haven't got around to using it. But I'll tell you what I have got around to using. Okay, I've got around to using this. See you in a minute. There we go. I'm back. Okay. So let's get back to the comments. 23 comments that I've missed. Oh, that actually shows me how it's probably really good. Listen, with this StreamYards that I'm using, and I paid about 200 quid for an annual package. I will get people on, but I've been so busy recently. I just haven't really paid any attention to it. Maybe some people from Facebook, or maybe a couple of other YouTubers. I'll get my act together, but you know, I haven't really made any plans for it just yet. Gwiggles NZ. I haven't heard the squeaky door for months. Got me a bit emotional. You obviously didn't hear Saturday night's live stream. Let's see. Bon Grip. Kiki on the trail. Boris looked pretty scared getting this booster vaccine. Doesn't inspire. I heard all kinds of things. I mean, I've heard that you know, I got told that the first vaccine was the one that really hurt you, so I was dreading it, and then it breezed through it without a problem. And then people said, no, it's not the first one, it's the second one. That's the one that really gets you. Okay, I breezed through that one without a problem. And now I've heard a couple of people mention that the first 2 vaccines, they're a walk in the park. Compared to this dreaded booster, which really penetrates your arm and you know, goes right. Oh my God Almighty! I'm going to get the booster and vaccine, and to hell with it. Whatever it will be. Mark Oleg. Okay, thank you for that super chat. A big thank you, Mark. I really appreciate that. Eddie, thank you for all your work and attention to detail, making my virtual traveling trips with you so memorable. I sincerely appreciate the time and effort you take in filming and editing your videos. Love the live streams too. Thank you, Mark. Cheers to you. A big thank you for that super chat. You know, I really do appreciate that. That will be spent wisely when I get out to Thailand. Believe me, that's just that, mate. And it's nice to know that, you know, my videos. It's always nice to know that people learn things from my videos. I just want to get out there, and I want to do what I do best. With regard, you know, I just want to get out there and film and travel again. But I've done Europe. I want to get back to Asia, and you know, But yeah, thanks for that, mate. Really appreciate that. Bobby Crush. Let's see, yours travels. Royal Caribbean. You've seen those ships, but a 14 nights can be over 2,000 per person inside cabin. I've seen them off the south coast. I've never been on one of those big cruise ships, but I've seen them when they were moored up off the south coast doing nothing. I think they've moved now, so they are actually sprung into that. But they look absolutely beautiful. The fact is, when you see those things, those big cruise liners, the idea of that man can actually build such. I'd love to try that, but I don't know if they're cool. I don't think they're ideal for a traveler like me. I mean, I always thought if I go on one of those, I'll probably be accosted by lots of rich 20-stone women, or maybe some old grannies who are looking for a toy boy or whatever. It's I don't know if it's for me, but I'd love to give them a try. I really would. Okay, Kipper. Let's see, me. Who's me? I don't know who me is. Andrewski, Ed, I've seen pictures online of Baton coming back to life. Have you? Yeah, Baton is well. Last time I seen pictures of Baton, I think it was in the summers. I was around about July, and it looked absolutely dreadful. But then again, I mean, that's out of season. I mean, coming back to life this time of year, it really would be coming back to life. I'd love to go to Baton, but I have heard, that's if that was the only place that is open, then that would be an expensive time out there, because it's not a cheap place. I think someone else, it was NDTVI. I was watching NDTVI before. I think they mentioned that it is quite expensive there, but the bay it is. For the bay, it's 100 baht or maybe 120 baht. But then that's similar to Bangkok and Krabi as well. I was in Krabi a few years ago. That's not cheap. 100 baht, 120 baht. That's quite similar as well. It's to some part. Anyone's been to Soy Cowboy, for a 33 cl bottle of Heineken or Singer or whatever, you could easily pay 140 baht, whatever. It actually works out cheaper in places like Greece, because there you get bigger bottles for a similar amount of money. Yeah, let's see. Michael Morris, Eddie, Mad Mick here from London. Get back over in Thailand. Ladyboy, missing little Eddie. See you, Pattaya, by Chiang Beers. Okay, fine. The Ladyboys are missing me, aren't they? Okay, maybe I have, secret admirers amongst the Ladyboys. Let's see. Retire and go. The problem is AQ hotels are booked on the one night you need. A nomad overseas. I'm wondering, will the requirements for travel to Thailand change to include that you've had a booster vaccine within previous 6 months? Wouldn't surprise me. Whatever. I am Spartacus. Will you take the 10th booster too, Eddie? I don't know if it's one a year. I mean, I'm still going to be alive then in 10 years. It wouldn't surprise me. It will be booster after booster after booster. But then you have to do all kinds of bloody things. I hate needles. I have a bit of a phobia against needles. I can't stand them. If ever, for any reason, I have to visit the doctors or the hospital or whatever, I've got to go in order to get an injection of any sort. I dread it coming. I dread it. But then, you learn to live with it. It's part of life, especially... you're getting older. You've got to have bloody injections. For this, that, and the other. It's not just for the antivirus. You just got to get on with it. Really, I'm usually quite open with the nurses if I have to my local medical center. If I see if I see a needle coming, then I always say to them, "Can I lie down, please?" I'm not having to stand up, because I've been known to faint with injections, and they're usually pretty cool. They snigger a little bit, but they're usually pretty cool with that. I think the last vaccine that I had, the second one, I was in the sports centre having it, and I noticed everyone was standing in line. They had the had the jab, and then they had the jab, and then then they left. Fine, not a problem. I think I was the one who said, "Listen, can I have a chair, please? Can I sit down while I have mine?" So she got she gave a right smile, and then she pulled the chair over, and I sat down, and then she said, you know what you've done now. Now that people see you sitting down, everyone's going to want a chair now. Okay, it's part of life, isn't it? 88, the booster. High five. The booster makes your peccary go curly. Your peccary, yeah. Okay, you got a curly peccary, have you? Good for you, mate. Good for you. A curly whirly. Bobby Crush. I love cruises. I never missed a love boat on telly. The love boat. Yeah, absolutely. He's got a Sunday afternoon, didn't he? He's got, what's it? Rosano Brazio, or whatever his name was. That smarmy bloody, Latin, aging Latin lover. He was on it, wasn't he? And what was the little munchkin, that it was in the James Bond movie? He was on that. Was that the one that started off with the plane? Was that it? Oh, am I thinking of? Oh, I don't know. I know what the Love Boat is. Oh no, I'm confused it with Fantasy Island. I'm confusing that with Fantasy Island, aren't I? Rosano Brazio and little Knick-Knack or whatever his name was. They were in Fantasy Island. The Love Boat was that might have had other actors in, but I remember it was, Fantasy Island, the Love Boat. It was all a load of crap anyway. So brain dead TV. Paul K, mine's is for 10 million. Okay, your insurance is for 10 million. Jesus, I don't know how much mine is for. Who the hell's going to pay 10 million for me? Okay. Bobby, because only cruise Neddy does is down Soi Six. Oh, you've obviously seen me there, have you? Paul Hoskin, I just want to visit where the girls treat you like a man. Okay, good for you, mate. Oh, get it on, baby. Yeah, okay. Oh, but I think you mean regular insurance from a good UK company. I'm getting on that bloody phone to my credit card company tomorrow. I'm going to say, listen. I did not ask for ASDA to renew my annual travel insurance. I didn't ask for it. They just took the 77 quid because they're opportunists, okay? And cancel it. Harry James, who's the little fella in the Love Boat? I'm getting confused with Fantasy Island, mate. I don't know if there was a little fella in Love Boat. Ian and Bob Bowden Howden, I can't imagine you on a cruise. You were too independent for that stuff. I think I would. Well, yeah. I think I'd probably even a bigger ship. I just love to see those big boats. I really, really would love to see them. The closest I've been to one of those cruise liners when I took a Brazilian boat through the Amazon and went from the border with Colombia to Manaus. And when I docked in Manaus, I was on that boat for 3 days. It was a Brazilian vessel and full of Brazilian people, obviously, and it was amazing. I mean, stopping off at various ports, they were loading fruit and various other places, and even the police with all the bloody Kalashnikovs, and they'd get on at one port, you'd see them sitting at a table, and I'd be there on another table having a beer, as that boat was going through, absolutely magnificent. When the boat stopped at Manaus, I seen this huge Fred Olsen cruise liner, and it looked wonderful. It looked amazing. I thought I'd love to go on one of those things. But then again, the Brazilian boat that I was on for 3 days, that probably was more adventurous spirit. That was probably a lot more fun. I managed to get my own cabin on that boat as well. Wonderful. How's Brazil doing these days? Last time I looked, all those South American countries were on the red list, but I don't know. If it goes pear-shaped, you never know. John Mitt, Eddie, you are well past it to be a toy boy on a cruise. A toy boy on a cruise. Oh, don't underestimate me, mate. Yeah, there's got to be some 90-year-old grannies there who think that a 25-year-old gigolo is too young. They welcome somebody my age. Michael Gervais in clubs, Bangla Road, 240 Thai baht for a beer. That's extortionate. That's extortionate. No, how big is the beer you're talking about? Is it a 33 CL? Is it a 30? That's oh Jesus Christ! You work that out in terms of the price of a pint, or what is 240 Thai baht? 100 Thai baht. That's about 250, isn't it? Well, 5, 6. That's about £6 UK for a beer. In the clubs. Well, I don't go in clubs anyway because I'm too old for that. I don't go in clubs. I can't dance anyway. But it sounds bloody extortionate. Just drink less beer, mate. Just drink. I think that's probably doing me good to go there. Drink less beer. Let's see. Wolves View. It's this PCR test. Yeah. People have been double vaccinated. You just have to do all that. I agree with you. I still don't like this idea of 72 hours. It puts too much pressure. Travel is stressful enough without all of that. I mean, to actually, it's got to be done within 72 hours. Then you're worrying, is your email going to get back in time? I agree with you, mate. It's the 72, but within 72 hours thing that's a real pain in the ass. It really, really is. Phil Roberts, 170 baht for a bottle of water in the crazy house just around the corner from Soy Cowboy. Yeah, absolutely. The extortionate. And then people say that Thailand is cheap. Andy Davey, Beamboat Cruises and Thailand. After 2 weeks, 2 weeks on the Lash in Pattaya, you need a cruise. Absolutely. Jax Poulsen. Okay. Bit vulgar that, Jax. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now, seeing as you're so vulgar. It's time for a little bit of refreshment here. What have we got here? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. This is a Lidl's. Oh, sloppy. Bit sloppy there. This is a Lidl's Melton Mowbray pork pie. Oh my God, hand crimped Melton Mowbray pork pie. And it's a big one. It's a big one. Oh my God. Oh, lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. I'm eating it Roger Moore style. Oh, look, there's more people watching now. Another 10 people have added to the chat now that I'm eating the pork pie. That was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely lovely. A bit too much of the old lovely stuff. I'll tuck into the rest of that later. Let's see. K-Pax, massive pie, massive amount of calories. Absolutely. Michael Jenner, Thailand is not cheap, mate. Greece is much cheaper. Thailand can be cheap, but it's the tourist centres that are expensive, and the temptation to spend your money. Wolves View, Bangla Road are doing beers for 69 baht. I think he's but I think Wolves. I think he's talking about nightclubs. Nightclubs are always going to be more expensive, aren't they? Let's see. Paul Hoskin, I love Ed pork pie. Cheers, Paul. So what have we got to talk about? Well, basically, who's thinking positive? Here's a question. Who's thinking positive right now? Bearing in mind, you only have to go back a few months, and the consensus was that Thailand is not going to happen this winter time, which is their peak season out there. I think things are looking more positive now. For all the stuff about this Thai pass, all of this rubbish being riddled with problems, the fact is people are going to Thailand now. and hopefully the bars will be open by December. And hopefully a lot of us who want to get out there can get out there. If I this week I've been looking at, I actually Googled best places in Thailand to visit. Now I like to think I've travelled to this country for enough times over the years. I like to think I don't need any Lonely Planet guide or anything. I don't need any guide because I think I know all that I need to know anything. But the fact is that there's still a lot of places there that I've never actually been to, and it'd be lovely to discover new places. Of course, visit the old places, Bangkok, Pattaya, and all of those places. But try and find some, like, even maybe you stay a few nights in some villages or whatever. When I was in Greece, I stayed in, for about 5 nights in a mountain village, and it was lovely, to try and make a break. I'd love to do a few different things, travel to a few more obscure areas of Thailand, and basically, because when you're traveling for so many months, and I've always done this, I'm pretty sure many of you guys will have done it as well. But if you set yourself maybe 3 months or 6 months or whatever, you will set yourself a daily budget. Okay. Now, some days you will go over the top and go well beyond that budget, but over a period of time, what you will do is to pull back on that budget. You may go to a variety of countries. You may go to one country that's very expensive, so you've gone well over your budget. But then the next country you visit may be dirt cheap, so you'll pull back, level on your budget again. That's the way I've always done it, and I'm sure many of you people will have done it. So it would be nice if I'm going to overspend in some of the touristy areas, to try and find some nice little villages where I can just relax and settle down and spend next to nothing, and then pull back on my budget. I'm full of enthusiasm. If the word really is go, if it really is set to go, the first thing I've got to do is arrange to get my booster jab, my 3rd vaccine. Once I've got that, I'll be prepared to book that flight for beginning of January. Book it for 12 weeks. 12 weeks. Beginning of January till the end of March. 12 weeks. That'll take me inside the 90 days. Get the visa. And I'm full of enthusiasm. There's nothing I would love better at this moment in time to be able to go out there and spend 3 months traveling around a variety of places and making vlogs and bringing you the kind of up-to-date information that I like to do. That's what I'm my goal is set for now. Let's just hope it all happens. John Mitz, 240 baht for a beer. That's why I was starting to visit Colombia. I've been to Colombia. That came to the end of my South American adventure, but I do know that Colombia is a beautiful country, and you meet some great people there. I wouldn't mind another visit there. Let's see what happens. I'd love to. There's still plenty of other places I want to visit. I wouldn't mind another visit to Cuba. That's been long overdue. Last time I was in Cuba was years ago. I'd love to go there again. Absolutely love to go there again. Paul Hoskin, good old British food. Absolutely, mate. Jax Paulson, love pork pie. K-Pax, wonder how many calories. Isn't it a fair few, mate? Pork pies are, not low in calories. What have we got here? Have I almost come to the end of this? Get in there. Go on, get in there. Oh, lovely. Oh, this ruby ale is okay. It's okay. It's not a classic. It's not a rocket to the moon. Okay, there we go. Big smoke. Okay, A-Stand, did I miss the squeaky door? High five. I thought you mentioned you're on a diet. I am actually starting to tighten up a little bit. I'll tell you what, I can tighten up a little because I'm back at work now. I still work. I still work, and when I'm at work, I don't eat. I have a bit of a breakfast. I have something late, in the evening. But while I'm at work, I don't eat at all. So over the period of time, I do lose weight when I'm in England. I don't put on weight when I'm here. David, nice to hear from you, David. Okay, listen, I'm gonna wrap things up soon. I've waffled on for about an hour and 10 minutes. I think we made the point that Thailand is open again. It's looking a lot more positive now than it did before, because I think, you go back a few months and most people thought that there wasn't even going to be a peak season, but now it's looking like there will be a peak season. But then in this long run and pandemic soap opera, things can change in 5 minutes. The the statistics in Britain are not very good at this moment in time. They're not looking good at all. Let's hope we can all, weather the storm and start traveling again soon. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up in a minute. And as for this last thing, I promise you, before long, I'll give it about a week. But I've done this StreamYards thing. I'll sort out how to use it. Maybe get in touch with a few people on Facebook or whatever. Maybe a couple of other vloggers, maybe who've used this may even help me out on how to use it. And I'll get a few people in the chat. It would be really, really nice. Maybe to do a couple of nights a week. Maybe Monday, Thursday, something like that. 10 p.m. A bit of late night waffle, not just from me, but maybe from a couple of other people. But I need to learn how to use this thing first of all. I'm obviously not using it properly. Let's see. Dorby was on before, so okay. Phil Roberts asked the guy, where was the best to go for ladies in Pattaya? He said Soi Six is number one. Got a taxi and asked, is Soi Six number one? He just said, no problem, and started driving. Took me to Soi 6-1. Oh, I think I'm with you. In other words, you went to Soi 6/1. In other words, you went up the back passage. He took you up the back passage, did he? Right? Yeah. Is that what it is? Yeah. Oh, the taxi driver took you up the back passage. Oh, yeah. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more. Okay. Okay. Michael Morris, beat hotel in Bangkok called Lean Over. Meet Mike. Sorry. Oh, this smutty lady boy are coming now, aren't they? Brian Cabbage. I don't even need to read how he said that name is fantastic, man. Brian Cabbage. Jibbin and Wreck. Mongers, Mongers, once they made the bar like they did the little, oh yeah, whatever. David, I've heard all the bars are open. They just call them restaurants now. That sounds like, yeah, but it's still not the same. I mean, he wants to, he wants to say, "Can I have a beer, please?" All right, we'll put it in a mug and or we'll wrap it up in brown paper and just put it down there, below your chair, and we'll call you if the police appear. And he wants to do that. I don't think anyone really wants to do that. They do it somewhere in parts of India. I was in Goa once, and people would drink a beer openly, fine, not a problem. And then I went to Kerala in the deep south of India, which was really lovely. And that's what they did there. Apparently there in Kerala, as I recall, anyway, they were serving it. You got to hold it under your chair. I wouldn't want to do that. Brian Dawson, Philippines won't be far behind Thailand. I would love to visit the Philippines again. Absolutely. Ian and Barb, I can see a lot of travellers missing their flight to Thailand due to confusions over that bloody stupid pass. It's obviously got teething problems. Yeah, you're right, because that guy who was on that episode of The Tiger today, that's what he seemed to say. It's not looking good. Apparently, they're not communicating. The Thai authorities are not communicating very well with you. If you phone up the embassy, it's very, very difficult to get through. Apparently, I wouldn't be any rush to do it. I wouldn't be. I'm just hoping that it's all sorted out before long. And I don't want to sound selfish, thinking that I want other people to be the guinea pigs and all that. But I wouldn't be any rush to do it right now. The stories that you heard are not very, very good. I mean, I'm one of the people who, if I put on my own and given a form online, to feel like, Jesus Christ, what am I going to do here? Let's see. Jimmy, the Philippines have to wear mask and face shield outside. Wearing the bloody face shield, Christ almighty. That's like something out of a science fiction movie, that, isn't it? It's like some kind of a science fiction movie. When walking around with a bloody face like a robot, oh, gee, that's terrible. That's absolutely dreadful. I mean, look, I mean, the way that the world has become is it's really bizarre. You know, it's absolutely really bizarre the way the world has become. I mean, I like the idea of the 21st century. I grew up thinking that the 21st century is the futuristic sci-fi. I thought by now we'd all be having our own personal spaceships. You know what I mean? Although some people say that I'm on another planet anyway, so you know, I needn't worry about it. I mean, the modern world is wonderful. Mobile phones, smartphones are wonderful. They're absolutely amazing invention. If you just told people years ago we'd be walking around with smartphones, you know, it's a wonderful invention. But there's little things about the modern world that get on my titties. You know what I mean? I mean, today I was in the town centre today, and I was bursting for a pay. Okay, and I had to spend 30 pence for a pay. Okay. Fair enough. I had coins on me, except I had to spend it on a credit card. I had to tap my credit card. This public convenience doesn't use coins anymore. It uses credit card. I had to tap at my bloody credit card. Now I've got 30p appearing on my credit card statement. I'm sure if I do that too often, all these 30p's are paying on my credit card. You know, people. I'm sure someone in the credit card office is going to be bloody sniggering. Oh, this guy's got a bloody serious bladder problem. To spend 30p having a piss, I mean, that's bad enough. But to actually use your credit card, well, oh my God. Some things I like about the modern world, and some things get on my titties. Stephen O'Connor in Cambodia. Good to hear from you, Stephen. It's our hours changed, you know, last weekend. So, am I right in saying that you're 6 hours ahead of us? Not 7, but 6. Is that right? So it will be about 5:15 in the morning in Cambodia. Cheers. I hope you're doing well, mate. I hope you're doing well. Oh, let's see. 6 a.m. So you are 7 hours ahead. You are still 7 hours ahead of us. John Mitch, most bars will stay closed. They can't afford to open. I would imagine a lot of bars have gone. They've disappeared. It'll be interesting and probably very sad to see what these places look like. Not just in Thailand. I mean, Stephen O'Connor's in Phnom Penh in Cambodia. All those wonderful places in 136 and 104 and I have to say, I've said it before, but my thoughts are with those lovely ladies who work in those bars, because they'll be back in the villages now with not a great deal of money. You know, so it's, you know, my thoughts are with the ordinary people who work in those bars. They're the ones. I've still got food on the table. I've got a roof over me head. I've got beer in the fridge. I've got pork pies. I've got a job to go to. But it's, you know, a lot of people will be suffering badly during this pandemic. Jonathan Freyer, Paul Hoskins. I used to spend 10,000 every day in Thailand. You must have been living it up, man. I bet you've got some fond memories, Paul. Jonathan Freyer, I would rather go to Mexico where there are no restrictions and go back to Thailand in January 2023. Well, yeah, but is Mexico in the same? No, there's nowhere like Thailand, mate. I've been to Mexico. I'm sure it's a wonderful place, but nowadays I travel. I'm not just thinking about me. I'm thinking about my YouTube channel, what people would be interested in. And the fact is, a lot of really top vloggers went out to Mexico last year because it was the only place that was open without restrictions. And I have to say, a lot of their videos were not a rocket to the moon. They were not really very exciting, really. Let's see. Bangkok is back open. Lots of fun there if Pats doesn't open, but I think 1st of December it will. Now, this business about the 1st of December, all of the bars and everything opening properly. The belief is that 1st of December was when they're going to open, but then there's other people who stubbornly say that, you know, they haven't confirmed it. It's not confirmed. People are hoping it's going to be December, but then it's not confirmed yet, you know. It'll be in Thailand's best interest to open everything in December because that is peak season out there. But yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Okay, what have we got now? Let's see. Riviera Rick, okay. Colin Gage, nice to hear from you. Nice to hear from you, Colin Gage. One of my Facebook friends. How are you, Colin? Thailand is going to take a long time to recover. A lot of people I know have made alternative plans. Alternative plans. I know alternative. I can do alternative plans in the summertime with places like Greece and whatever. But I think I've done Europe. I don't think personally. I love what I've seen of Greece, and I've done Turkey quite a lot, but I think Europe is past now for me. I don't think I'll be heading back to Europe for the future. There's still one more video to come out from Turkey, a nice sunny one about the pirate ship. That'll come sometime, but it's I think Europe is a thing of the past for me personally. I think Europe was the first place I ever travelled abroad, and I've seen a lot of it, and I don't really need to see any more. I mean, I want to go to the places which I really enjoy rather than the place which I find interesting. And at the end of the day, when you're talking winter sunshine, Thailand is as good as it gets, really. Lynn Ellefson, does Cuba have decent bars? Cuba, I only ever went to Cuba for a few weeks. That was almost 20 years ago. And it was wonderful. And you do get the feeling, it may have changed a little bit now, but when I went to Cuba about 20 years ago, there's something about that place. I did get the feeling that that place and the people are being isolated from the rest of the world. They've grown up being, the younger generation have grown up being isolated from the rest of the world. They were all very different. There was, very, very different. And I did get a lot of hassle there. Everywhere I went, people, you heard the haunting phrase, $1 for me, $1 for me. You get served somewhere and the person who's serving you would ask you to donate, $1 for them, but you're asking, does Cuba have decent bars? Cuba was rocking when I was there. Absolutely. Havana, the old course of Havana, jazz. Oh, who doesn't love jazz? The traditional Cuban bands, the bear. Absolutely wonderful. I'd love to visit that place. I mean, I'd be meaning to go back to Cuba for many years and spend a lot more time there this time. I stayed in a couple of private houses in Havana. There's a beautiful town called Trinidad in Cuba, not to be confused with other places in the Caribbean, which are also called Trinidad. And I think about Varadero, what a wonderful place. Cuba has rocking bars. Terrific. I'd love to visit that place again. Really would. Let's see. Robin Bocat, any jelly in that pie? No, I didn't even think about that one. Big Smoke, Vietnam. Sean the Prawn, bit of pork pie and lager, British tapas, okay? Oh, Jesus Christ. Sloppy. Let's see. Roger, Eddie, do you go to your local bars in England? I don't bother too much. I'm not someone who wants to spend all the time in a local. But now and again, the problem is where I live. I mean, I'm too old for the younger part of town, and I'm too young for the older part of town. I refuse to. A lot of people my age. Wait a minute. Oh, Jesus Christ. A lot of people my age go to the local social club, and I've done enough comments about that with the social club and the meter and all that. The local piss houses have got nothing to offer me. They've got nothing to offer me. There's plenty of people who go to the local pubs who go to the local pubs, who spend all the money in the local pubs, and yet they've never ever been abroad because they can't afford a holiday. Well, I'm the other way around. I save all the money and I go and do something with it abroad. I like to have a drink with friends or around at local houses, or so sometimes they come here. We have a drink together. The pubs are nothing to offer me. Add Dragon. I've just applied for the Thailand Pass. Man, it's just full of glitches right now. I'm glad that I'm not doing it. I am glad that, because I am someone who would get, I know that I would get very frustrated at that. I really, really would. Let me tell you something. I mean, you know, with phones and computers, especially when they're online and you've got no one to assist you, they can be bloody, you know, frustrating. Many, many years ago, before the internet, before even laptops, I did a computer course once. Can't remember where I'd done it, but I done a computer course, and there was me and a lot of other adults sitting around with these computers in front, with not really knowing what to do with them. And I do remember computers can be so frustrating when they're not going the way you want. I actually seen a guy once physically attacking a computer. He actually got up and he physically attacked the computer simply because it wouldn't do what he wanted it to do. Well, I'd be like, I can imagine if I had that Thailand Pass on the screen in front of me like that, that's probably the way that I'd be. I would, no, thank you, no, thank you. I want the dust to settle. I want the dust to settle. Let's see, Cartagena, Wolves View, Cartagena, which is Colombia. We don't need nothing but just passport on their travel pass. Okay, that's interesting. Pinball, where's Hot or Not tonight, Ed? I've done a little bit on the the Halloween, didn't I? Not doing that tonight. Some people like it, and some people thought, but you know, well, it's not to everybody's taste. I am Tilt. Cheers, Eddie. Enjoy the stream. Okay, listen, thanks for that, mate. Anyway, nice to hear from you. Listen, this is I'll talk about nothing but Thailand and various hiccups with the Thai pass and all that kind of stuff. But the point that I want to make this last thing, at least we can say things are looking a little bit more positive. I'm repeating myself. I've said this a couple of times. I'll say it again. The good thing about this is that you only have to go back a few months, and most people thought that the idea of heading out to Thailand for this coming peak season was going to be out of the question. It just wasn't going to happen. Now, at least, despite all the hiccups, at least it looks like it could happen, or hopefully it's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to get my booster jab very, very soon, and after that, I'll be booking a flight to Bangkok. 3 months, get my visa sorted. I'm sure many of you will be planning on going to Thailand. You all want a bit of winter sunshine. You all want a bit of fun in the sun this winter. I'll say, good luck to you all. Good luck to the whole lot of us. Okay? Listen, thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat. Really, really appreciate that as well. Have a lovely week. I'll be back with you next week. Like I mentioned before, I've no excuse for this other than I am a digital numpty. I will sort out how to use this StreamYard properly, and let's get some guests on. Hopefully next week I'll sort out, maybe get some people, get some people on this stream, make it a bit more fun of a night time. Have a lovely weekend, guys. I'll say good night. Thanks for watching. Cheers.